Okay, so we have this example. Let me just read it. A permeable soil layer is underlain by an impervious layer as shown in the figure, with K equals 5.3 times 10 to the negative 5 meters per second for the permeable layer. Calculate the rate of seepage through it in m cube per hour per minute with if h equals 3, a or the angle alpha is 8 degrees. Ayan. So, ayun guys. No, oops, sorry about that. So, we need to calculate the seepage. Okay. So, what is our formula for the seepage? Okay. Or the flow rate. So, ang magiging formula natin guys, as was discussed, we have Q is equal to KI A. Okay. So, tingnan natin kung ano yung mga given. So, we have the given for K. So, wala tayong problema doon. Wala tayong given for I and A as well. Ngayon, ang gawin natin guys, is computin natin yung I or the hydraulic gradient. And what is the formula for I? I is equal now to delta H or the head loss all over the distance between the two piezometers, upstream and downstream, okay, parallel to the direction of the flow. Ayan. So, yan yung magiging formula natin. So, let's check let's identify the delta H. Okay. So, we have this figure here. So, ito yung ground water table natin, free surface. So, as you can see, yung direction ng flow is actually slanting. Hindi siya horizontal. Okay? So, if I'm going to insert a piezometer here, kunyari mag-insert ako ng piezometer dito, and one here, maybe somewhere here. Ayan. Okay? Makakompute natin yung delta H. Okay. So, the delta H actually, guys, is just the difference between the elevation of water upstream and downstream. Okay. So, this will be my data. Okay? Or this is my target site. Okay? So, kung saan ko nilagay, pinwesto yung piezometer na dalawa. Okay? Now, computing natin yung delta H. So, what will be the difference in elevation between the upstream and the downstream? Okay, so, i-label ko to guys. I-label ko ito. Itong horizontal distance between the two piezometer. Yan. This will be our length. Okay, take note that's the L. Okay. Now, what is your delta H? So, delta H is just actually equal to the difference in elevation of the water surface. Okay? So, dito siya, hanggang dun sa pangalawang piezometer. And then, ito na yung magiging H mo. Ayan. So, in between the difference in elevation between the two piezometers, the difference of the elevation of the water in between the two piezometers, yun yung delta H mo. So, how are we going to compute for the delta H? Can we say, guys, that this is actually, the angle here is actually your angle alpha? Okay? So, maniwala na lang kayo, guys, that is the angle alpha. Okay? So, yan yung angle alpha natin. Kasi yan yung angle ng tilt nung water table. Okay? So, pwede na yung gumamit guys ng triangle, okay, to identify the delta H. So, i-draw ko dito yung triangle na na-form. Ayan. Ayan. So, that it will be the triangle. I don't know kung pantay siya, parang hindi, no? Pero magtiwala na lang tayo. Pantay yan. Ayan. So, this is now your delta H. This is alpha. And this is now your L. Okay. So, pwede tayong gumamit, guys, ng trigonometry to identify or to solve for delta H in terms of L and alpha. So, we can say that tangent of alpha is equal to opposite over adjacent. So, that's delta H all over the L. Okay? And solving for delta H, we now have L over tangent of alpha. Okay? So, hindi ko muna guys pinapalitan yung alpha ng 8 degrees. Baka kasi mo-confuse. Okay? Since later on, pwede naman tayong mag-cancel. Now, we have the value for delta H. Okay? So, okay na tayo sa delta H sa head loss. Next thing that we're going to compute is actually the um, the length of flow between the two piezometers parallel to the direction of the flow. Okay? So, I'm gonna be marking this one. Magmamark ako, guys. Ito naman yung mamarkahan ko. Ayan. Since it should be parallel to the direction of the flow, ganyan siya. So, I think it's parallel naman na. Ayan. So, naka-slant yan, guys. This is your LF. Okay? So, dahil naka-slant yung ating flow, naka-slant din yung length of flow natin in between the two piezometer. Okay? So, that will now be our LF. So, may ma-form ulit tayong triangle, guys. Actually, may meron tayo ulit ma-form na triangle. So, i-draw ko na lang yung triangle dito. So, ganito siya. Magiging itsura niya ay almost the same with ganun, with the first triangle that we did. Ayan. Pero iba lang yung variable set niya. Ayan. So this is your L, this is your LF, and this is your angle alpha. Okay? So using trigonometry ulit, medyo ibaba ko siya para ganun, hindi kayo ma-confused. Ayan. Using trigonometry ulit, let's try to solve for LF naman. Okay. So, we can use cosine, guys. Cosine, no? Cosine. We can say that cosine alpha is equal to adjacent L over LF. Okay. So, your LF now is equal to L all over cosine alpha. Ayan. So, yun na yung LF and then yung delta H natin. So, what will now be the value of our I? Since nakuha na natin delta H and yung LF. So, substitute natin siya dito. We now have delta H which is equal to L tangent of alpha all over yung next LF natin, that is yung L or over cosine alpha. Okay, ayan. So, simplifying this further, we all know naman that tangent alpha, that is just equal to sine alpha all over cosine alpha. So, we can say that this will cancel out. And then, tangent all over cosine, that will just give us sine alpha, guys. Okay, remember, tangent alpha is sine alpha all over cosine alpha, trigonometric identities, divided by 1 over cosine alpha. That's just equal to sine alpha. So, that is now your I. Okay? Next, computin natin yung area. Okay, how are we going to get the area? So, we all know that the area should be the area of the soil perpendicular to the direction of the flow. Okay? So, pwede ko siyang isulat dito, guys. So, it means yung area natin will be perpendicular to the direction of the flow. Ayan. So, mga parang naka-slant siya ng ganyan. Ayan. So, ito yung magiging ganun natin. Magiging area natin for this one. So, ito siya. Pinroject ko lang ng ganyan, guys, ha? Pero this is perpendicular to the board. Okay? Pinroject ko lang siya na ganyan. And sabi kasi doon per m cube per r per meter. So, we're going to consider 1 meter strip lang. Okay? 1 meter strip. Okay? So, what will now be the height of this one? Or what will now be the height or what will be the area? Okay? So, kung ganyan, guys, yung mangyayari, we all know that this is already perpendicular. Ayan. This is perpendicular to the soil. Okay? So, paano natin kukunin yung area? Okay. So, pwede tayong mag-form, guys, ng triangle. Since 1 meter strip lang naman yan, pwede tayong ulit mag-form ng triangle. Okay, so I will be forming a triangle in here. So, ganito yung gagawin natin. I'm gonna do a triangle here. This is your area. Ayan. So this is A, guys, ha? This is A. Okay. And then, ito yung surface ng ground. And then, ito yung edge natin. Ayan. So, ayan. So, ito, minove ko lang siya dito. So, magiging ganyan yung itsura. Okay? So, do not be confused. So, ito yung edge natin and this is now our area. So, nasaan dito yung ating alpha. Okay. So, ang alpha natin, guys, is actually somewhere here. Okay. So, using this triangle, how are we going to get the A? So, we can say that, let's use cosine ulit. Cosine alpha is equal to adjacent, which is A, all over the hypotenuse, which is h. Okay? So, your A now is equal to h cosine of alpha. Ayan. So, yan na po yung magiging working equation natin for this one. Okay. So, substitute na natin siya dito. Q now is equal to KIA. And what is our K? That is 5.3 times 10 to the negative 5 multiplied by, what is our I? Sine alpha. Okay, multiplied by, what is our area? That is 3 cosine alpha. Okay, yung h kasi natin, guys, dito, that is actually 3, okay? So, yun yung one natin. Okay, or kung gusto niyo, sige, lagay ko na lang muna dito h. H cosine alpha. And then, 1 meter strip, considering 1 meter strip ng width. So, that is M. Okay? So, 1M. So, your Q now, substituting the values. Sine of 8 degrees multiplied by H is 3 cosine of 8 degrees multiplied by 1. So, what is now your Q? Your Q now is, take note that it should be in, I think, M cube per hour per minute. So, ito kasi naka-seconds pa siya. So, that you have to multiply 3,600 as well para ma-transform natin siya into hours. Okay? So, magiging sagot mo ay 0.0789 M cube per hour per meter. Okay? So, nag-multiply ako ng 3,600 kasi yung 5.3 natin dito, guys, that is in terms of meters per second. So, kinonvert ko lang siya into hours. Okay? So, wag kayo ma-confuse dyan. Okay? So, idagdag ko na lang din yung 3,600 dito. Ayan. Okay. So, this is now your final answer. Okay. So, that is your final answer. Okay, so I hope you got that. Medyo tricky lang siya kasi naka-slant yung flow. Okay? So, next question tayo. Ito, example 5 naman tayo. Ayan. Ito medyo madali-dali na lang kasi gano'n naman. Kumbaga, hindi siya similar to yung previous example lang natin. Pero ito, meron talaga siyang piezometer. Okay? So, allow me to read. It says in here, find the flow rate in m cube per second per meter length at right angles to the cross-section shown through the permeable soil layer shown in the figure. Given h equals 8 meters, h1 is 3 meters, and then we have h equals 4 meters, small h, or the head loss, 4 meters, and L equals 50 meters. Okay, so the distance between the two piezometer, horizontal distance is 50 meters, and yung hydraulic conductivity natin is 0.08. Okay. So, gawin natin ulit. Sulat natin yung formula. Okay, yung solution natin. So, Q is now equal to KIA. Okay. So, yung I natin is equal to delta H all over the flow. Okay, length of the flow. Okay? So, meron tayong delta H pero yung flow wala pa. Okay, so what are we going to do? Okay? So, similar to the previous example, well, we can say that we can draw a triangle in here. Sabihin natin ito. Yan. This is your LF. Okay? So, what is your LF based on the given? Okay. So, alpha natin is somewhere here. Ito yung alpha. Ayan. So, your L now, or your LF is just equal to, considering that triangle na ma-form dyan, cosine alpha, okay, cosine alpha is equal to adjacent L all over hypotenuse, LF. So, your LF now is equal to L all over cosine alpha. Ayan. Okay, so meron na tayong LF, and meron na din tayong delta H. So, we can compute for that already. Okay, so we now have delta H, which is 4 meters 4 all over. Delta H natin, guys, is a change in the elevation of the water. So, ayun kasi siya. So, sa piezometer, meron na siyang change in elevation. Okay? So, H, which is delta H, which is 4, and over L. Okay? So, that is 50 all over cosine ng alpha. Okay. So, okay. Parang mayroon ba tayong value for alpha here? Parang wala. Okay. So, let me just check. Ayun. So, I forgot to put the alpha. Guys, ilagay nyo na lang dyan. Alpha equals 8 degrees. Okay? 8 degrees yung alpha natin. So, na-overlook ko lang siya, guys. Okay? So, pwede ko na siyang palitan. Okay. So, this is 8 degrees na. Okay, so hindi ko muna siya i-compute. Diretsuhin ko na lang mamaya doon sa may solution para isang isang bagsakan na lang. Okay, so meron na tayong I. What is now our A naman? Okay, so what is our A? Paano natin kukunin yung A? Well, yung A natin, check natin doon. Ito yung kukunin nating area, guys. Okay, so yung area na kukunin natin is this one. Ayan. Ayan. So, naka-slant yung kwan dyan, ha. Tiniridi ko siya, guys, para hindi siya mukhang 3D. Okay. So, ayan yung area na kukunin natin. That is, itong A multiplied by 1 meter. Pero since 1 meter lang naman, sabi kasi doon lagi sa problem, per meter width. So, kahit wala natin siyang ilagay. Okay? So, paano natin to kukunin? Well, similarly, pwede nating mag-triangle ulit. So, triangle tayo ulit. So, ito yung ating H1. Okay, yun yung ating H1. Ayan. So, ganyan siya. So, yung magiging kwan natin dito, guys, sa ating burahin ko na nga lang yun, pero mukhang pampagulo pa siya eh. Mukhang pampagulo. Ito. So, this is our A. Ayan. So, magiging working equation natin, guys, since this is 90 degrees. Ayan. Okay. So, magiging working equation natin, this will be alpha. Yun yung magiging alpha. Tapos, this is H1. Ayan. So, yung triangle natin, ganito ang itsura. This is alpha, and this is your A, and this is your H1. Okay. So, magiging working equation natin is cosine of alpha is equal to adjacent, which is A all over H1. Okay, so your A now is equal to H1 cosine ng alpha. Okay? So, yun lang yung magiging A natin. So, lagay na natin siya dito. Okay? Your Q now is equal to K, which is 0.08. So, ilagay ko na lang muna. K multiplied by, what is our I? That is L all over cosine alpha. Joke. Hindi pala. This is your delta H muna. Delta H all over L all over cosine alpha multiplied by A. What is our A? That is H1 cosine ng alpha. Ayan. Ayan. So, substituting all values, we now have K, which is 0.08 times 10 to the negative 2 meters per second multiplied by 4 all over 50 all over cosine alpha, or 8 degrees, multiplied by, what is our H1? That is 3. And then cosine of 8 degrees. Okay. So, ayan. So, what will now be our Q? So, your Q now is 0.19 times 10 to the negative 3 m cubed per second per meter. So, m cubed per second per meter, guys, kasi per meter, per 1 meter strip yan. Okay? Supposed to be may 1 meter dito. Okay? Pero, hindi na natin siya nilalagay kasi sabi doon, ang tanong is ayun. So, calculate the permeability. Ayun guys. Ang tanong dito is in m cubed per second per meter. Okay? So, normally kasi ito, perpendicular to this flow, mahaba-haba yan guys. So, yung hindi lang kasi 1 meter talaga yung width nung ating permeable soil. So, normally, kwan talaga siya, mahaba siya. So, ang kino-consider lang natin is 1 meter strip. Okay, so that is now your final answer. Okay, so that is example number 5. Okay. Ayun. So, the next part of our discussion will be on the relationship for hydraulic conductivity in granular soil. So, this will be part another video na lang. Okay? So, if you have questions, please DM me na lang in the Telegram. Okay? Or during our class, pagtanong kayo. Okay? So, I'll see you on the next video.